Welcome to the channel, Pain the Petite here, and thought I would go through the steps of setting up Tarkov. So once you've got yourself an account and you've installed the software, just showing you at the top there, they currently have a sale on right now. But anyways, you click play, and it should launch the game for the first time. There I'm showing it's 13.5, which is the latest patch. But the game will start, and it takes a little while to come up. That's why you usually want to install it on an SSD so it comes up a lot faster than on a traditional hard drive. So if possible, install it on your C drive and install it and have that C drive be a SSD. But here we get going. We're going to load the profile. It takes a minute and it comes up and it wants you to choose a language. So you have English, of course. I guess that's Russian, German, French, and you just have to pick whatever. Of course, as you can tell from my speaking, I'm speaking English, so I'm going to pick, just hit accept, jump to the next level. Here you put in your character name. You can see there's a limit of 15 characters. This is my current character name. If you're going to stream on YouTube, you might want to put in a character name and then end it by YT TV, YouTube TV, or if you're going to do Twitch, you can do a name and then TTV, which is Twitch TV at the end. And that way people know that you're a streamer and they may come to your channel to watch you play. If you try to pick a name that is racist or something like that, you can get banned. So be careful. All right, the next part is picking a character. There's two types, USEC and Bear. Really in the game, there isn't too much difference. Choosing a USEC, there is one task on Lighthouse map that's better for USECs. The rogues that control the water treatment plant are some offshoot of USEC, so they will not shoot at you as quick. Other than that, you pick USEC because at the start of the game when they give you a little bit of equipment, it's all NATO based, which is an M4, and I like. The Bear, as you can see, has got an AK version. I think the AK version is actually a little bit better at the start, but I like using the M4 because the final thing is that there's some using the Y key, you can play a bunch of little sentences in the game in case somebody doesn't have Discord or a means of communicating, and you can communicate using these small sentences. You pick a language and that's what the character will speak. So if you pick USEC, they will speak those sentences in English. And if you pick Bear, they will speak them in Russian. And I don't really speak Russian, so there's not much I can do. Other than that, there isn't too much difference. They do say that later in the game, when they open another map, there will be a map that benefits being a bear. So at this point, though, in 13.5, there is no real reason to pick Bear other than you just want to play it. You want the AK and the Russian Soviet Warsaw Pact, whatever you want to call them, whatever the proper term is. If you want their gear, that's how you start. But again, other than that, I don't know if there's really anything. Again, USEC gets a bit of a break on Lighthouse in dealing with the other people, or sorry, the rogues. Okay, so I picked USEC, and now you pick an appearance out of a few choices. There's no female characters. They were asked about that, and they didn't think it was worth the effort. And then you get to choose a voice.
Nice.
So you pick a voice, and he plays the example.
Nice.
Really doesn't matter one way or the other. What you pick, I'm just running through a couple of choices here. Just do that.
Sure.
So that's my choice of character, and the voice is going to be Chris. Again, does it make any difference? Not really. Only that you hear a slightly different voice when you hit your Y key, and there a menu pops up at the Y key, and you can pick various phrases to say. There's also another key, I can't remember what it is, and you can do hand gestures and stuff. Because now in the game, actually, when you're playing as a rogue, although you will be a bear when you play as a rogue, you can get other scavs to follow you. So here's the start menu you'll see. Um, these are the menus you'll have. Escape from Tarkov is how you get into the game. So if you click on that, and okay, click on that, you can go in as a scav and a PMC. So scav, you get a random selection of gear. Um, and usually use those for loot runs going into, if you're getting low on cash, you do scavs. Other scavs, the bots won't attack you, except for, but the high-end bosses and stuff will. If you go into PMC, then it takes a selection out of your stash, and you use that, and you lose it if you die. The scav stuff, you lose it if you die, but who cares? It was given to you anyways. You can notice that these titles here are shown at the bottom: character, traders, flea market, etc. That's just for quicker navigation through the menus. So instead, if you get into character and get a couple screens in, you have to go skip back. If you just go to the bottom and jump. Okay, the next one is I've selected is the hideout. So the hideout is a crafting location. It's doing a bit of stuff here now. But all these various benches you see, and there's some you will add as you unlock them, they have, you can either craft things that are useful to the game, or you'll get a boost in certain skills or the ramping up of skills if you go the other way. So here I've picked in the laboratory, and basically it's talking about unlock armor, and that's what you get out of the lab, some stuff. Here's vents I'm already ready to construct, so that has the materials, because all it is money, and that's done. So if I go to level 2, there's 3 levels. So if I go to level 2, I need to gather all this equipment to do it. Now vents basically lock some of the other benches, so I don't think they actually provide any useful thing for your character. So here we see laboratory and the items that I need to collect. Same for workbench. Workbench is important because you can get a lot of good stuff out of it. Security, then again, illumination, again, there's the requirements. Not too much to get to level 1. Med station, you get first aid, it's important. And then rest, you see the negative effects are removed at a certain percentage. And here we go, energy regeneration, you get a bonus if you get to this level. So obviously you want to go to the 3 levels, but there's a number of other ones you don't see at the moment, and they will come as you ramp up these other areas and as you get your character to a certain level. Okay, and there I was showing the workbench and the lab are 2 very important things. These ones are more bonuses to your character and how fast it recovers between raids, etc. But that's it for, well, the med station. Again, this is important because you can craft first aid materials. Okay, back. That was hideout. Now we go to trading, and you see all the traders. You notice that Jaeger's grayed out. He's not currently available. You have to do a mechanic test quest before you can unlock Jaeger. But these are the various traders. Peacekeeper deals in NATO equipment and US dollars. Ragman is mostly gear, and that's about it. Therapist doesn't want any weapons or armor. She just wants um, computer parts or parts and food and meds and stuff like that. The fence is the last option you ever use. He's sort of part of the game, but he pays the least and charges the most, and most of the stuff he sells you is broken when you get it or heavily worn. So that's what it is. So you notice there's 2 of the the traders that have exclamation marks. That means they have a task ready to go. And at the start of the game, Therapist has a task and Prepper has a task. So you need to select those characters. And it's I'm just doing a couple other things here. Also notice the timer at the bottom is counting down. That when that timer expires, the traders will get a refresh. So sometimes you'll see they'll have stuff that's sold out. And when the timer expires, they get a new stock. So that's important to know. In the start of this game, there's some shotguns you want to buy from Jaeger, and he constantly runs out. But there we see the two traders who have the green question marks. They're not always shown, but most of the time it indicates that they have a task. Also, you see there I pointed to he has got a rep, and we're all starting with the same rep. In order to advance your relationship with these traders, you need to increase the rep with them, and you do that by completing tasks. Okay, so you see a selection of items that Praper has to sell. And as you ramp him up, you see I'm at an I. So once you go to 2, 3, and master, he just adds more equipment that he'll sell to you with each step. And you can subdivide what he has to sell by various elements just to make it simpler to search stuff. Yep. And so I'm back to full. So these are all the items. You'll notice the ones with the double arrow, they are a tradable item. So the hand grenade there in the middle's got 2 arrows, and the one, that means you can trade for it. You can't buy it with cash. In this case, you click on the item. You have to have the buy tab highlighted. You click on the item. It'll tell you how much it's going to take out of your account, and you click on deal. To sell an item, you basically click on the sell tab, and then it shows you bold all the items that you can actually sell to this trader. You notice some of the items are grayed out. That's because this trader doesn't want rigs. He'll take body armor. He won't take backpacks. He'll take guns and ammo. And there's a few other things he'll take. But that's how you can tell. So in order to sell something, you simply drag it over onto the center screen, and you'll see that deal section lights up and exactly how much he's going to pay you. And you click deal, and you'll get the money. So here, Peacekeeper, again, I said he's mostly NATO. So he's got like an MP5 and an M4 and a bunch of stuff like that. And you notice the dollar values are appearing over the items that he can buy because he's going to pay you in dollars. So that the other ones, all the other traders deal in rubles. So you can see the numbers are much higher over the items. That's because they will pay you in rubles. Some of the traders do have a few items that they want euros for, but in most cases it's just rubles. And here you can see Ragman is all body armor, backpacks, and tactical rigs, helmets, stuff like that. So he does not want any kind of armor. Again, I'm highlighting a item that is tradable only at this point. As you ramp him up, you'll be able to buy that item, but at this point, it's trade only. Okay, we're going back to Prapor here, and you notice that I clicked on the task tab at the top, and here is the first task. So you see a bit of a description of what, just kind of the lore. You clicked accept, and it now gives you details. So for debut, you need 5 kills anywhere. It used to be only on customs map, but it's now anywhere. And you need 2 shotguns. And what you'll get is the experience points. You get level Praper up by 0.02 in the rep, and Jaeger by 0.01. And you get some rubles, and you get a Keter, and you get some bullets. And the lock says that it will suddenly allow him to sell those to you. So that's what the lock is. So you unlock that with Prapor, and you'll be able to buy a 74U with a silencer already attached. Right now, you won't find that in Prapor's list of things that he sells you. So you want to unlock things, and various times during the game you'll unlock. So now up the right, you see that here I'm currently at level 1, and level 15 is what I need to get him to level 2. And it's red, which means I don't meet it. The center part is rep. I'm at 0.2, and I have to be at 0.2, so it's blue because I've met it. And then the other thing is spending. I have to spend a certain amount of money with Prapor, and that's either buying or selling. So I have to sell him or buy from him 750,000 rubles worth of stuff. So you see again, here's a list of items, and when I buy something, it adds the total that I've paid to this column. So I will show you that. I'm going to buy one of these little AKs. It's going to cost 24,000, and now you see I've spent 24,000 with them. The reverse happens, and I can take something and I can sell it to them, and I will get that amount of money back from the sale. Um, and it will again go into that. Here we go. I'm going to take these flashbang grenades. I don't particularly like them. So there's how much I'm going to get, 13K. Deals highlighted. Click on that, and you notice my spend is jumped. So you see, buying and selling to the trader is how you ramp up his currency level. Here we have some items that are grayed out. You'll find them in the game. All you have to do to look at them is right-click and examine. Sometimes you can't pick them up wherever they are, whether it's a bag or a jacket or a locker or a box or something, until you've examined them, although they have eliminated that in most cases. And you'll notice at the bottom that when you examine something, you get a few experience points. So you used to come in and everything was grayed out and you would examine everything, which took a long time. But by the time you were done doing that, you were actually at level 2. So that's gone. So I'm going to have to go from level 1 to level 2. Again, we got a lot of items to barter for, and it shows you what you need to get it. So for this director's key, I need 2 iced teas, 4 crackers, and 2 cans of squash. And once I have that, you'll see all the items light up, and there'll be check mark. You can check mark beside them, and then you just click deal. Trading is also considered buying. So each item has something that you need. In this case, for the junk case, it's certainly just it's money. So you need over 1,106,138 rubles to get one of these cases, and I would recommend getting one as soon as you can afford it, because the junk box allows you to put tools and weapon parts to computers and all kinds of things that you need to complete tasks. And you notice how many squares it takes up. Well, when you open it up, it gives you like 5 times that amount of space. So the size something is on the outside and the size that it has on the inside, it's like the TARDIS in Doctor Who actually is bigger. So you notice how many squares that backpack takes up and how many you actually get to put stuff in. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5. That's just the top section of that backpack alone. And there's other sections. So you can use backpacks and tactical rigs as storage locations. This is just my stash. So again, to put stuff into the backpack, I just start dragging it and dropping it. If you can drop it, it'll be green. If you can't drop it for some reason, it will be red when you drag something on top of it. So, and you can also use these vests to store stuff in, which I'm doing now. So you notice there when I pulled the helmet over that one thing, it did not light up because there was no space for a square item. Every item's got a certain amount of space that it needs. You see the shotgun shells are only a single square, whereas the mags in some cases, well, these mags are all a single square. But the guns, the Berettas are 2 squares, so you have to have an appropriate amount of space to store stuff. And what I was showing you there was you can stack things, bullets you can stack to make a certain size stack, and money you can stack. So here's the second one. This is therapist, and this is shortage, and you have to find Salawa first aid kits in raid. Notice in raid. That means there'll be a little checkbox, just like that car first aid kit. The little checkbox says it was found in raid. If you find one that doesn't have a checkbox, then it will not be accepted to complete this task with therapist. But this is what you should do. Very first part of the game is you should go to Prepor and therapist and accept their 2 tasks. And once I can get my character up to level 2, mechanic will then have a task, well, actually 2 tasks for me, and one of them unlocks Jaeger. So one of the ways to advance in the game as soon as possible is to complete tasks, and it also brings their rep up. So we see different items here that I'm going through, and again, if you want to store some stuff, you can use mags and you can fill the mags, and then they will have they can be used as sort of storage space for bullets. Otherwise, every stack of bullets takes up a square. So if you're running out of space, and believe me, you will, then you need to be efficient. Okay, so the fence can sometimes have tasks, but I'm going through each one of the characters by clicking the task tab, and you see that nobody has any other tasks. And of course, Jaeger, I can't do anything because he's not unlocked. So this is sort of the standard thing I would take into a raid. A little bit of food and water, because you can see the 100 with the drop there. That's how much my hydration, and the lightning bolt is my energy. Um, that, as you move about the game, will start decreasing. As soon as you get into the game, it's decreasing, and if it gets to a certain level, you will drop dead. So you always have to be dehydrated and stuff. In a lot of cases, you can find stuff in raid, so you don't necessarily have to take stuff in, but there are times you'll take stuff in. And so you notice there that these mags are 2 squares, so they won't go into the pockets because pockets only accept a single square. So what I'm saying now is that you should always have a space in your rig big enough to take a mag, because when you reload the mag, so there's a space. And when you reload the mag, if you don't have a space in your rig because you've been putting stuff in it, it'll drop the mag and any bullets still in it on the ground. So keep that in mind. Always have a space in your rig to allow you to change mags without losing stuff. The pouch is a container that if you die in the raid, you keep your stealth, the bayonet, for example, anything in the special slots, anything in the pouch you keep when you die. You can't always put everything you want in the pouch. There are some restrictions, but if you find things that are valuable and you need them for completing a task, or their money or something like that, then put them in the pouch so that you get them. At least if you die, you might lose everything else, but at least you get what's in the pouch. There, I switched my weapon from a bayonet to a stealth. That's because sorry, not stealth, but the hatchet. That's because the hatchet will actually do more damage if I'm forced to fight with it than the bayonet. So that's why I switched. Excuse me. Okay, so again, the special spots I'm pointing out there, that's for items that you won't lose if you die. Gamma container, in my case, depending on what version of the game you buy, you might get a smaller case. But notice I can't put a helmet in it. So if you find a helmet in raid, you can't put it in the pouch. So you have to put it in your backpack and hope you don't die. However, you can put food, you can put knives, you can put headsets, and of course there's bullets already in there. So there is a selection of things that you can put. You can put money. So those items but you can't put a gun or a mag, but you can put the bullets. So that's the thing to keep in mind, that if you come across something that's very important, you should always try to put it in your pouch so you survive. You still retain it if you survive or if you die. But there will be limits of certain things that you need to extract immediately if you find one, because you can't put it in the pouch, and if you get killed, you lose it. So here I'm showing how to hotkey stuff. So medical stuff that's in your pockets, or food and water if it's in the rig, you can hotkey them. So if I want to use the little orange healing, I just hit the key 4 and it'll use it. You can otherwise right click on it and select use. Anything in your backpack you can't hotkey, and if you want to use it, you have to take it out of the backpack. If it's a mag, you have to take it out of the backpack and put it into the rig before you can reload it. You can right click on things in your bag and select use. So here you notice I'm looking at a morphine injector. Again, you can see the negative red numbers means it has a negative effect on your energy and hydration. So if you morphine basically dulls pain if you get shot or break something, but it will have a negative effect on your hydration, which can lead to your death. Propofol, on the other hand, regenerates your health and has no negative impact. In fact, it's got a positive impact on some of your skills because you can see it's in blue. So propofol are actually quite good to carry with you. Now, because they're valuable, I would put them in the pouch so that if I died, I don't lose them. And if I need to use them, I can simply right click and select use. It's not the most efficient. It's not as efficient as hotkeying them, but it does allow you to make use of them without fear of losing them. So at the start, the Grizzly will heal virtually anything. So you notice that the little orange pack only removes radiation, and it takes 2 seconds to go through the animation, and it'll heal you for 100 healing points of damage. So you notice here there's points of damage available. Currently 70 is available on the stomach, and I'm at 70. But as you get hit, the number on the left will decline. And if you go black in that it consumes everything, you can repair that with a surgery kit, but you'll notice that the number on the right will go down. Here we have that was bandage, and it had heavy bleeds, but notice the Grizzly is kind of the ultimate. It'll stop light bleeding and heavy bleeding and removes fractures. So it's kind of an all-rounder for stuff. It's just that it takes up a lot of space in the pouch. But at the start of the game, I typically run with the Grizzly in my pouch with some ammunition and leaving a few, potentially leaving a few spaces to grab a goodie. I might run into something that I want to put in there, but the Grizzly's taking up too much space. Okay, here's IFAK, a little med kit, and it will again. So the orange has no stop the bleed, but the IFAK and the Sulliwas, those are the ones you're going to be hunting for your task, also will stop bleeding. Here we have gas cans. There's a generator eventually you'll unlock in your hideout, and you have to keep feeding it gas in order for it to craft certain materials. This one is it's got 3 uses, 3 out of 3 there, and it's used to stop bleeding. So sometimes if you get shot, you will start bleeding big time. And you need to stop it. Otherwise you'll die. You'll bleed out. Here we have splints. If you have a cracked limb, you either have the number 7 one that I have hotkeyed as a single use, and the orange rolls, you notice they have 5/5. That means they have 5 applications. Again, I'm putting the MRE in here because I don't want to lose it, but if I need the space, I'll basically pull it from the pouch and put it into the backpack. So now I'm illustrating the 2 numbers here, energy and hydration. The hydration in blue, energy in 100. Once you go into the game, you will start sweating, and that number will start declining. The more stuff you're carrying, that faster that will decline. So you have to consume items to replenish those, because if they get 0, you'll start taking damage, which you can heal, but eventually if you can't heal it fast enough, you'll die. So notice this bottle of water increases the blue, the hydration, and this one does energy, and it gives you an energy boost. So those are some of the food items that you can potentially carry. Again, if you have to heal yourself, it'll affect your hydration and energy. If you're in the raid for a long time, it'll affect those numbers as they decline. So it's important to often either consume food or take it in with you. So here I'm showing the different armor classes. So class 2, the higher the number, the better the armor is. And those are the hit points of the armor. So this is a class 2 armor with 50 hit points. It shows you material. Different materials will take damage better. Armid's not bad. You see here we got this piece is total damage units is 50, and it's currently at 50, but the leftmost 50 will disappear. And there it was showing you what areas the armor would cover. So notice that piece of armor covered the thorax and the stomach, but it doesn't cover the arms. So you can be shot in the arms. So here's another piece of armor. It's actually much better. It's class 4 with 85 points, but it only covers the thorax, so it leaves the stomach exposed, so it won't protect your stomach. And notice also movement and turn ergonomics are affected by this piece of armor. So you'll turn faster, sorry, slower, wearing this piece of armor because there's a penalty for using it. So all those things have to be considered when you decide what you're going to use in a raid. Notice I'm illustrating the side panel. In the next version of the game, they're going to add more hitboxes, so you'll be able to shoot somebody in, as we call it, the armpit meta. You can shoot them in the armpit region because there's no protection there. All the pieces of armor only protect certain areas, and that it's fairly important now, but it's going to get really important later because you can shoot people in the legs and kill them by basically damaging their legs so they bleed out. And there's no armor in the game right now, at least, to cover your legs. So that's called the leg meta. And if you're stuck trying to kill somebody, shoot them in the legs. Headshots also, again, I was showing the headshot. Headshot's very important. You can have a helmet, but your face is still exposed. Here again, class 4 armor. You can see the negative impact of movement, and you notice that it covers more of the body. So it's actually a more effective piece of armor between these two. They cover more than the one in brown that says USIC on the front. Those two. So even though the one in brown has more hit points, the fact that the AVS covers more of your body, it makes it a more effective piece of armor. Taking the hat off, and I'm putting a helmet to give a bit more protection. So it does the top of your head and the nape of your neck, but it does not do your ears and does not do the front. You would need a shield on the front to protect the front of your face. And yeah, you don't want to take too many mags into a game because when you die, you'll lose them. So usually one in the gun and maybe one, sometimes two. It depends on the capacity of the mags, but that's about all I'll take into a raid is maximum 2 mags. And here I'm talking about the food and moving. If I need more space in the pouch, I'll move the MRE up into the backpack. Okay, so then here we go. I've got myself loadout ready to go, and I'm going to pick my PMC character. And now you have to pick a map. And once you pick a map, you have to pick a time. There's 2 times separated by 12 hours, and 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So if you want to go in at night, you pick the 21. If you want to go in the daylight, pick 9. Yeah, so that's it. This is the offline training screen. I'll pop by this. Here you can insure stuff. You notice all the stuff are highlighted. There's a cost to that, but what it means is if something's insured and you get shot and nobody takes it off your body, you'll get it back. You notice the total sum to pay keeps increasing every time I select. You can use insure all, or you can pick the individuals like I did. So it's going to cost me $37,000 to insure this stuff, and that's only good for one return by Praypor. If I get it back and try to use it again, I'll have to reinsure it. I usually insure stuff if I have the money, at least early in the game. Once it gets later in the game, if I got enough gear, I don't care. Start looking for a group. You can play with other players. And you get assigned somebody. You have an option to pick somebody, or you can select your own group. So now we're going in here. You see it takes a little while to get in. Depends on how busy, how many people are actually playing. And here we go. Now I've picked interchange because I want to remember I have that debut. I need shotguns and kills, and I know interchange pretty well. So that's why it's my first choice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the interchange map and try to get scav kills. And I do have a separate video for debut, so I'm going to stop here, but thanks for stopping by.